Hello and welcome to Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain to you why. There's a creation tool that's located within the Anchor app, which will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. That's also one of the perks of using Anchor. And then your podcast could be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place, which is in the Anchor app. So if you want to get started, and again, it's totally free, then download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Hello and welcome to Life as It Is with me, Dora Middleton. And in this segment, I would like to talk about two different places, one being Australia and one Puerto Rico. With Australia, I would like to talk about the fires that they're having and the fact that they said they've arrested, I believe, 183 people since November. And that 24 people also had a part in setting some type of fire. There's been a few firemen that has passed away, and they said this is the worst year yet that they've had with fires. They had back in 2009, it was something called the Black Saturday. And it killed 173 people. Okay. And right now, with the burning that they're having right now, there's been over 2,000 homes that's been destroyed and 27 people killed, including three or four firefighters. And then all of a sudden, here's this earthquake in Puerto Rico where over 2/3 of the island was still without power. And they've had a lot of, over a dozen of aftershocks. I would like to say this. I know everyone's saying it's dealing with climate change. Yes, it has a lot to do with climate change, but there's a lot going on in this world. You know, you have half the world here flooding out. You have the other half that's burning up. I mean, when are we going to just understand that it's not... Even though it's climate change, I think it's a little bit more. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that's not religious. There's a lot of people that only believe something if science says it's the way it is. But we're living in this day and age where you have to look past a lot of this stuff and get to the bottom of what's really going on. And for everyone out there, I've read the Bible through and through. And if you think about what I've read, if you go back into the book of Revelations, it talks about all the fires, all the floodings, all the disease and the wars and everything. All of that is in the book of Revelations. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, because I know a lot of people cannot stand to talk about when you start talking about the Revelations in the Bible, they don't want to hear it because it freaks them out. They're afraid of it. But it's there, you know, and I can remember reading it when I was really young. I read it, and I've read it again as an adult. I mean, it talks about a lot of what's going on now. And I think that in this world today, we all need to get ourselves together and get right with God, because there's a lot that's going on, and He's angry because of all the nonsense that's going on in the world. And not only that, it talks in the Bible about when the last days is near. This is some of the things that will be taking place. You know, but again, I didn't get on here to talk about the book of Revelations, but I just want people to open up their eyes and see what's going on, and we need to do better. It's so much hatred out there. So amongst all this hatred that we're having in the world now, we're having all the fires and the flooding and earthquakes, you know, and there's a lot of other places right now where, I mean, we just had, I believe, 60 something degrees today. And Saturday, where I'm living, Saturday, we're supposed to have about, I think, 1 inch of snow or something like that. But it's been like that. 1 minute it'll be 23 degrees and the next minute damn near 80, 75, at least 72. And it shouldn't be like this, but the weather is crazy. And again, it has a lot to do with the climate change. And it saddens me to look at all these stories where instead of the Australian Prime Minister taking care of what needs to be taken care of, try to figure out a way to deal with what's going on there, he's taking his trips to Hawaii. And I can understand why they're angry over there, because he did a story where he said, well, he had to take that trip to Hawaii because he promised his children. Now, here's the problem I have with that remark he just made. These aren't little children. These are grown children. His children are grown up, is what it says. So, okay, you promised them a trip to Hawaii. Even if you couldn't go, they could have gone by themselves. Okay, they were old enough to travel alone, of course. You had a duty to be there for Australia. You needed to be there to help your people. You needed to figure out what needed to be done. Okay, and not leave everyone scrambling and running around, not knowing what way to go or what to do. That's not right. Hawaii wasn't going anywhere. You could have rescheduled this trip. People break promises every day. I know you shouldn't, but people do. And I think this is one time where you should have broken that promise, because these aren't children. That's 5 and 6 years old that you've made these promises to. These were adults. So that would have been fine. But you're still making excuses to why you did it. And then you're saying, well, things happen. You still have your life where you still have to do things in your life. Yes, you do. But when you sign up to be a politician of any kind, you got to understand sometimes your life has to be put on the back burner, because you have an obligation to do for your country. You have an obligation to do whatever it is that you signed up to do when you wanted to run for this office. Okay, so all of the things that you feel that you should be doing in life, you basically said, okay, I'm willing to put that on the back burner because I know that I'm taking this oath or whatever, and I have to do what I have to do for my country, for my people, for the citizens. And this is not what you did. You did was what was right for you. You wanted to go and enjoy, Hawaii. You wanted to not think about anything that was going on right now. And that's not fair to your people. That's not fair to your people at all. So that's why I go back. That's why I say, when I make the statement to people, a lot of these people want to run for office. They like the power. They like the money. They like whatever it is about it. But when they're ready to just go off and do their own thing and feel that they can just shut off the rest of the world and just hide or do whatever they have to do with their family, it doesn't work that way. You are signing up to put your family, second to something else. This is what you signed up for. You can't sign up and decide, oh, well, I don't want it this way. I'm just going to do what I want to do, and everyone needs to understand. No one's going to understand that, because you have people losing their lives in this fire. Look at all the animals that's dead. And all you're saying is you've made a promise to your grown-up children. It's not like breaking a promise to a baby, to a toddler, or even a 10-year-old. These are grown-ups, okay? They would have been fine. And they could have traveled without you, or you could have rescheduled. At least you could have rescheduled and gone at a different date with your family and just made, just made arrangements to do it again with your family, okay? But that's not what you did. You chose to forget about the one place that you were supposed to make sure everything was going smoothly. You were supposed to make sure that your people were fine. And everything has gotten way out of hand. And, you're reading these stories on social media where they're saying that they're needing water and he's not doing what he needs to do to get them drink the water that they need. He needs to sit down and figure out what it is he has to do for his country. Okay? There's no need to explain why you did what you did when you went off on your vacation. That doesn't even matter anymore. You need to look at what's in front of you and figure out how to make it right, figure out what you need to do, and just move forward. You can't keep going back in the past. It happened, okay? You made a bad decision, and now you deal with it and make it better. Show people that you actually give a damn about them. Because at the moment, they don't think you care at all. And these are people that you said you were going to help, okay? These very people are afraid. They're afraid for their lives. They're afraid for these animals. They're afraid of what's going to happen to everyone there in Australia. And it's not looking like it's getting any better. And the little rain that they got didn't do anything, so something needs to be done. And it just saddens me with everything that's happening in this world today. It's like if it's not one thing, it's another. I mean, it's like everything is happening at one time to where no one knows what to do. And it's sad. It's sad and it's a scary thought. And I say this, that we all just need to pray for one another in this world that we're living in today, because it's a crazy world. And I know it's not just climate change. There's a lot of craziness going on around the world, everywhere. And it's not looking like any of it's going to get any better. And not to sound like negative Nancy, but I just think that we all need to pray more. Pray more. I pray that God protects us all in this world that we're living in, because it's a lot to take in with what's going on. I mean, it's so much, and people make these memes on social media, and the shit is not funny. It's not funny at all. And I believe instead of doing that and turning everything into a joke, and I know sometimes they say if you joke, it helps people that's in situations where you can put a smile on their face, so you can joke about things and make them feel better. But in this case, there's a lot of people in Australia that's asking for people to stop making these little memes, stop laughing and thinking it's all funny, because it's not. These people are afraid, and I think that we need to respect them. If they're asking you not to put this stuff on social media, take it off. Stop putting it up there, because you wouldn't want to be in the situation that they're in and have them do that to you. So I can understand where they're coming from, and I think that people need to understand where they're coming from better. You know what I'm saying? Just, if they want it removed, just remove it. It's a time and place for everything, and I don't think right now is the time to show the animals on fire, standing in the middle of all this fire, and they're just burning up in front of these cameras. And I don't think this is what needs to be made fun of. And like I said, these days we are so cold-hearted. It's a lot of cold-hearted people out there, and they don't care. As long as it's not affecting them, it's a joke. But if they were in a situation, they would want all the sympathy they can get, and they wouldn't want people making fun of the situation. So I think people need to just step back and look at what they're doing and just pray for these people all around the world. Everyone should just pray for one another, because there's a lot that's going on, and people aren't praying the way they should, and things are just so out of hand right now. Okay, I will be back as soon as I take a brief break.